everyone. This is the Church of Christ 106th Anniversary Special Coverage. I'm Anna Cui in Las Vegas.
And I am Philip Toledo in Atlanta. Joining us tonight is a special guest, the spokesperson of the Iglesia Ni Cristo, Brother Edwil Zabala. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Brother Edwil.
Thank you, Philip, and thank you, Anna. I suppose I should be looking at my camera right now. Thank you for having me, and happy 106th anniversary to all the members of the Church of Christ.
Absolutely. Happy 106th anniversary to all the members of the Church of Christ, of course. Brother Edwil, I guess let's just get right to it. You know, these times that we live in right now, there's a lot of words we could use to describe them, like unnerving, challenging. How does the Church of Christ address the need of people, both members and non-members alike?
Well, for those who are not members of the Church of Christ, we'd like to first repeat that the Church of Christ is a Christian religion, and the primary focus of the Church is to lead people to the praise and the worship of the one true Lord God who created all of us. So the Church continues to perform that duty. We continue to share the message of hope that is in the Bible, not just to the members of the Church, but even to those who are outside the Church, who'd like to know more about what we believe in, and who'd like to join us in the worship and the praise of the true Lord God. In those places where government health protocols do not allow large gatherings, we continue to do that via the household worship services that we continue to hold inside the church. I don't know how it's like there in Atlanta or in Las Vegas, but if they allow you to gather in the places of worship, that's also where we bring those who are not yet members, but who would like to hear about what the Lord God has to say to us via the preaching of the ministers from the Bible.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, brother. And, you know, that's very encouraging to hear, because many of us, no matter where we are in the world, we're facing challenges, both individuals, families, and organizations. So when it comes to the church, what would you say is the greatest challenge it's facing during this time of pandemic?
Well, unlike before, when we were able to go out and talk to people personally, I suppose one of the adjustments we've had to make is that we now have to do it via technology. So we still invite people to listen to God's words, and hopefully through that we're able to strengthen them, we're able to give them hope, but we do it online. So it's not like before, when it was very easy to just go out and meet with people, meet with your friends, and talk to them about what gives us members of the Church of Christ hope. Now, it's more interesting how we have to deal with others.
Yes, Brother Edwil, thank you for that. You mentioned earlier here in Las Vegas, to answer your question earlier, here in Las Vegas, it is not allowed. The government is still not allowing church gathering. Just to answer your question.
Oh.
Now, you mentioned the difference now with the church members. How is the church dealing with the challenge of not being able to gather together? I know you already mentioned that they're now able to worship via the internet. How else is the church dealing with that?
Well, you probably know this also. Even before the COVID-19 started spreading around the world, in the Church of Christ, the church administration already asked ministers to go visit all families of members in the church and hold household worship services. And so we simply continue doing that, especially in those places where, just like what's happening there in Las Vegas, you're not allowed to congregate in the places of worship, in the houses of worship. Now, we have places where they allow gatherings, but only, for example, in some places here in the Philippines, only 10% of what can be gathered inside the place, only 10% is allowed. So we also do that. We also adjust to the situation based on government health guidelines.
So 10%, I mean, I was I had the opportunity to be there in the Philippines last year about this time, and I've seen how how
Large.
big how large the houses
Yes,
of
the
worship. There,
congregations, yes.
10%. Yes, absolutely, still a lot of people. So also last year, I got the opportunity to see how the Church of Christ celebrates its anniversary. In light of this situation right now with the restrictions, how is the church celebrating these days?
Well, we have our programs, but they're online, and they not only are they streamed, they're also aired over television. So even today, we have celebrations, but all the performances are online. But more important than that, we held our Thanksgiving worship services, because that is being a Christian church, being based on what the Bible teaches. That is what the Bible tells us to do. No matter what the situation may be, we're supposed to offer thanksgiving to the Lord God. So we've been holding Thanksgiving worship services for the past few days, and even today we have Thanksgiving worship services. And later today we will be having celebrations that can be watched even by those who are not members online and via television.
Thank you, Brother Edwell. Now, I want to shift gears just slightly here. We know that part of your mission is to reach out to communities that are economically challenged and then offer them relief. For those who may be tuning in for the first time, what's the scope of this work, or how vast is this work of this mission?
Well, just to give you an idea, we've held aid to humanity via the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation, from Africa to Asia and the Middle East to North as well as South America to Australia. What else haven't I mentioned? I suppose all the continents in the world. As of a few days ago, we now have 42 eco-farming projects that we've established, and we still continue with the other socio-civic activities of the church. In those places where people are allowed to set foot outside their homes, the volunteers, the members of the church who volunteered with the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation, they've gone out to deliver relief packages to those who are in need. Now, in those places where it's not allowed because of current health protocols from the government, we've touched base with government as well as non-government organizations who are allowed to go out. So we've delivered the goods to them, and they do the distribution.
Absolutely, and that's very encouraging to hear. In fact, later on in our program, we're going to hear from more individuals and representatives from organizations across the world, like you mentioned, all those various continents, who've actually received help from the Church of Christ and the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation over the past year.
But very quickly, Philip, I was watching some of the footages from Canada, and it was not because I'm a member of the church, not because I'm a minister inside the church, but it's really heartwarming to hear how those outside the church who received these relief packages as well as the other things we've done for them, how they have reacted to us. And I'd like to quickly add, it's not just the Iglesia Ni Cristo that's doing this. We also commend the other organizations who are going out despite the danger to help out. We'd like to commend all of them, and we'd like to call out to everyone. Now is the time for all of us to unite and do what we can for the community.
Absolutely. That's such an important message because, even here in America, there's so many things that you can see out there that are dividing people. So that message of unity that's great to hear coming from the Church of Christ.
And aside from these, outreach missions that the church continues to hold, how else is the church helping not just its members, but also those from the communities to cope with the emotional damage the pandemic is bringing, Brother Edwell?
Well, it's a good thing that you asked that question. The same thing that we members of the church need. We need strengthening. We need spiritual upliftment. We try to share that with as many people as possible, even though there are limitations now to how we can interact with others. We'd like to visit our loved ones. We'd like to go visit our neighbors, physical neighbors. But if it's not allowed, at least we're using technology to reach out to them, extend an invitation to them, so that they too will understand what we understand. God exists. The Lord God who created all of us, who is almighty and who is merciful, He exists and He knows what He's doing. And that's the message that we're trying to bring to as many people as possible. There's no reason to lose hope. There's no reason to give in to depression. There's no reason to give up. Because if we only obey what the Almighty wants all of us to do, if we return to Him, He's going to take care of us. So that's one of the things that we're doing inside the Iglesia Ni Cristo, reaching out to as many people as possible.
Well, it's really amazing and inspiring that despite of the pandemic, it sounds like the Church of Christ, the Iglesia Ni Cristo, have found ways to continue on with their works and overcome all the challenges. Thank you so much.
Before you go on to another topic, I know you have so many things lined up today. I'd just like to add, for example, here in the Philippines, a few weeks ago, we started holding baptisms again, but we had to limit the number of those who were to receive baptism. So that just goes to show that the church is continuing in its work, and it goes to show that more and more people really welcome the message of the Bible. And again, I'd like to take this opportunity to call out to all those watching this program right now. The Lord God is merciful. I said that before. I'd like to repeat it again. The Lord God knows what He is doing, despite all the problems, despite the trials that we may be going through. The Lord God exists, and He is ready to welcome us. And we hope you'll accept the invitation of the church, accept the invitation of our brethren. In your country, wherever you may be, if you receive an invitation from us, the assurance is all you'll hear from us are words recorded in the Bible. And what's there in the Bible? It's very uplifting.
Thank you so much, Brother Edwill, for that. And as you mentioned, you continue to reach out. And as a matter of fact, I heard that the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ will be holding, as a part of the celebration, the what you call the Evangelical Mission online tomorrow. So that's going to happen all over, wherever the Church of Christ is.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and happy 106th anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy
Mabuhay.
anniversary.